be prepared to face the reality of their situation if they were going to receive the promise. And I think the third reason is he wanted to reveal what was in them. He wanted to reveal what was in them. And he wanted to call them to faith. Because remember, the Bible says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. For everybody who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. You see, he wanted them to face the reality of their situation and to understand it all so that and they would know all that would be involved in receiving the promise that he had. Now, thinking about our planting the flag campaign and all that we're doing and looking for land and the giving campaign that we're in the midst of right now. For the last year, we have been spying out the land. We have talked to dozens of landowners, and we have done a ton of research. And we have learned from other churches, from bankers, from builders, from people who are experienced in this process, who have been through it before. And I believe that our leadership team has a pretty good grasp on reality. And there's been a few times where we've thought certain things, and we've been relieved of those notions. Let me just give you the reality. The reality is it's a winding road. It's a winding road. I remember talking to a builder who, and this was kind of one of the frustrating things at the beginning of the process. I just wanted to call a banker and talk about banking and get some information, qualifying us and what can we do and, all those questions. But they never would come alone. They always came in pairs. If I called the banker, I got a builder. If I called the builder, I get a builder and an architect. It was just boom, 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 boom. Well, I'm sitting here with this banker, and this builder was brought along. And this builder is a guy who's built about 30 churches. In fact, he's currently involved with Eagle Brook Churches, which is one of our sister churches in the Baptist General Conference. And they're the construction company that's done most of the construction for them over the years. And he's been involved in that. And I remember this was back a couple weeks ago, and it seems like months ago, we were talking about the Fletcher property, And I brought that up to him. I was really excited about it. He kind of looks at me and he goes, that target's going to change several times. Believe me, I've been through this. That target will change. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't like you. I don't want to hear reality. I want you to hear what I want to hear. And then the banker chimes in and says, you got to get that giving campaign off the ground. And it's like, I'm not listening, the builders, the bankers, the landowners are saying, get it off the ground. And I remember being so mad and so frustrated back in mid-February, early March, somewhere in that period, I can't remember now, it's all a blur. But I remember being so frustrated, and I want to have the target, I want everything nailed down. And I was asked to go to Grace Fellowship to talk about church planting to the Grace congregation, because Grace Fellowship is trying to raise more money to plant more churches. And so Dave Reno asked me to come and to help incite some generosity around starting new churches. And Terry and I were at the banquet that night. We were just about ready to go in, and I'm thinking more about all my frustrations than I am about what I'm going to say in a few minutes. And Kurt Hallstrom, those of you who know Kurt, he's one of the founders of Grace Fellowship, been there right from the beginning. One of these guys that just oozes wisdom. I mean, you can literally see it coming out of his ears. And he comes up and just nonchalantly says, so, how's it going? And I looked at him and I told him. And he gets this big smile on his face. Did you hear about how we got this land? Our giving campaign failed. We barely got half the money that we needed to buy this piece of property that we're sitting on today. Got it now. It just didn't work out the way we thought it very large church out in Orange County, California. Pastor Rick Warren's the pastor there. They're one of the biggest churches in the country and all that kind of stuff, but I love them for their attitude. And I'm looking through all the materials, and I got to tell you these stories. And you think we got problems.